You don't have to know the way knows the way. You don't have to find your way, trust your way, feel your way, the way he knows, the way he knows, the way he knows the way. Sitting under the moonlight on top of the rooftop of my beautiful home here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, listening to DJ God on the soundtrack, the Nighttime album, where you hear frogs and crickets and different insects and lizards all buzzing around. This is the beautiful, unique sound of Thailand. The day sounds very different. That's a whole different album from DJ God. I've created a reality where I literally get to choose being here. Sometimes when we're not sure where life is taking us, sometimes when we are unclear about the road that we're on, sometimes when we feel confused and not supported and frustrated and disappointed and sad and anything, I want you to come back to taking a step back. Because the part of you that's trying to create, or trying to know, rather, maybe that's the best word, the part of you that's trying to know, that's literally trying to know the path, this is for you. The path is already created for you. Sure, there's moments in that path where we have a lot of free will. That's because that free will was already given to you to create a path. We are literally tethered to infinite amounts of paths. We're not just tethered to 1 or 2 or 5 different paths. We are tethered to infinite amounts of paths. And anytime we sit around in creation work and manifestation work, all we're doing is shaking up the universal energetic piggy bank of paths, and we're picking one, and it's downloading into our memory, causing a visceral and physical emotional reaction that allows us to create movement in our day-to-day life by way of circumstances that are not pleasing, by way of circumstances that are pleasing. And none of it is right or wrong. It's all part of the infinite amount of paths that we get to pull from each and every time. So when you think somehow you're on the wrong path, somehow this must not be right, try this perspective on and see if it changes your relationship to the present moment. Instead of worrying about how the future is going to look, what if you stayed here and go, I don't have to worry because the paths are all created for me. Whenever I have a thought that was meant for me, that means it will show up in the physical realm. I didn't have to choose the thought came to me. Which means it will show up in the physical reality for me. And this takes a beautiful amount of sitting with yourself, learning what it means to allow. And what allowing looks like is learning how to breathe and learning how to feel the sensations in our bodies. I definitely can be someone who gets worried about the future, especially when money is involved, or, I'm as a business owner, entrepreneur, it's easy for me to get flustered when I'm not making a sale, or a client's not coming, or this month is slow. I get worried about money. I get worried about, oh God, the future. Or when I'm really tired and exhausted and I feel like my body is betraying me today, and all I really want to do is build my business or work on my project, or, call a friend or go hang out, and I can't. I'll judge myself because I'll should all over myself. Evanye, you should be able to do this. You shouldn't have stayed up this way. You shouldn't have lived yesterday like this. You should do something different tomorrow. How many of y'all can relate to being shitted on by yourselves and others? Should is just another word for shame. Shaming yourself, making yourself feel bad for something. But what I've learned over the years is that shoulding doesn't really help me. It actually makes me feel worse. It doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel safe. It doesn't make me feel loved by myself. I feel worthless and depressed from it, and more anxious. So that's why I come back to the message of, you don't have to know the way. The way always knows the way. Our only job is to feel our way through. That's it. Feel our way through. So maybe this message is for you too. Peace, beautiful people.